In this video, we're going to look at the 9 biggest trends of 2022. Tyres are getting bigger, cockpits are getting more integrated, and group sets more electronic. So, what does this year look like? Let's take a look. Concealing brake hoses and gear wires and merging bars and stems in the name of aerodynamics has become something of a bike industry obsession in recent years, and if 2021 is anything to go by, this looks set to continue. There's been a degree of kickback from consumers who want to retain the freedom to swap stems, stack spacers above or below without disconnecting everything, or even change handlebar tilt, which, of course, is impossible if a bar stem is a single piece of carbon. However, we are seeing the emergence of an integrated cockpit middle ground, so we're expecting more component manufacturers to go down the route of Vision's FSA's ACR system, in which the bar and the stem are separate but the cables run inside them and straight down the bike's head tube. With disc brakes now dominant in the world of lightweight race bikes, the manufacturers have realised that they're free to build an almost unlimited amount of tyre clearance. In the last 2 years, bigger tyre clearance has become one of the expected highlights of a new bike spec launch, alongside saved watts and increased stiffness. Whereas the walls of a 28mm tyre used to represent the outer limit for clearance on road bikes, we're now seeing space for 34mm rubber and beyond. Lower rolling resistance, more comfort, and a better chance of tubeless sealant doing its job due to lower pressures are all benefits of bigger tyres that will be increasingly enjoyed from here on. Specially shaped and positioned bottles have been a key part of a bike's aerodynamics as far back as the 1980s. The best known is Campagnolo's famous white flattened one. More recently, brands such as BMC have experimented with filling the gap between the down tube and the seat tube with a custom Aero module box, on top of which the water bottles sit. Look at the Swiss brand's Tyre machine, launched in 2018. Meanwhile, time trial bikes, borrowing the bento box idea from triathlon, have also tested faster with them than without. But possibly the most radical solution, which might have smoothed air but definitely divided opinion, was the cargo foil box on the Orbea Orca Aero, sited between the front wheel and the down tube. Sure, none of this is UCI legal, but that doesn't mean you can't use them for a Strava KOM. In 2022, expect to see bigger and more aerodynamic storage solutions appearing in every possible frame gap. When the new Cervelo R5 launched at the end of 2021, the big story was that it was less stiff. Less stiff? Had the Canadian brand gone soft in the head as well as other bike parts? Actually, it was pretty smart and a very original move. With the old R5, ultimate stiffness had apparently been achieved, and it was now time to dial it back for some extra comfort for those World Tour riders. Cervelo claimed there was a magic ratio for head tube, down tube stiffness, and that the new R5 was designed around it. As one of the long-time innovators in bike design, we wouldn't be surprised if more brands followed Cervelo's lead and started to take a more moderate approach to the stiffness of their own bikes. The new Cervelo R5 was a trendsetter in many ways. Naturally, it ticked off the bigger tyres in the integrated cockpit, but the Canadian brand almost mentioned in passing that it was for electronic group sets only. According to Cervelo, this allowed for a more efficient manufacturing process with fewer holes. We've even heard of brands such as Velo, which already makes one-by-specific bikes, working on SRAM axis-only bikes with no hole in the chainstay for a rear mech wire or cable. With Shimano's top 2 road group sets, Dura-Ace and Ultegra, it's to be expected that the flagship models in a range will be electronic only, and if you're a SRAM Axis user, it would be a nice custom touch if unnecessary holes simply weren't there. Electronic gears were once only for pros, however, they're now reaching the third tier group sets. In 2021, SRAM was the first to introduce electronic shifting to a mid-range group set with rival ETAP Axis, which is the third in its hierarchy after Red and Force. But so far, Shimano only has its top two, Dura-Ace and Ultegra, as electronic group sets. Although Shimano famously remains very tight-lipped about its forthcoming technology and makes a point of not responding to speculation, despite our best efforts, we predict 105 Di2 is coming. Perhaps not as soon as 2022, but you can bet its R&D team is already working up a prototype. Although Shimano would never admit to taking any notice of what SRAM does, the new rival ETAP group set has been well reviewed, including by us, and appears to be very popular with a new breed of cyclist, many of whom also train and race indoors and expect everything to work outdoors in the same way. As for Campagnolo, it's only the top group set, Super Record, which has an EPS electronic version, but an updated Record EPS looks set to join. We hope Chorus stays mechanical for a few years yet. Watch on to the next point and we'll explain why. We've already said that we expect a Shimano 105 Di2 at some point in the future, but we're going to sit on the fence here and postulate that 12-speed 105 might equally be on the cards, and perhaps is more likely. Shimano's top two group sets, Dura-Ace 9200 and Ultegra 8100, were launched in 2021. Fourth tier Tiagra was updated in 2019. Bearing in mind 105 was last updated in 2018, it's almost certainly the next one to be redesigned. At the moment, there's a big jump up from 105 to Ultegra, both in price and performance. At the moment, the rim brake 105 R7000 costs around £600, and the disc brake 105 R7020 just under £800. The new Shimano Ultegra R8100 costs just over £3,000 for the power meter chainset version. We're hoping Campagnolo takes note and continues with the excellent Chorus mechanical group set, which was equivalent but priced slightly above outgoing mechanical Ultegra. Pinarello's new Dogma F was launched in 2021. Perhaps for the first time ever, there was general surprise that there were both disc brake and rim brake versions. With the demise of the rim brake continuing in all quarters, both consumers and industry expected the new team bike to be disc only, in line with the Ineos Grenadiers gradually migrating over. Fausto Pinarello says that he likes to give riders the choice, but Pinarello's own figures reveal that it expects 80% of sales of the new Dogma F to be the disc brake version, and it seems likely that this will be the last ever rim braking Dogma. Even Giant, the world's biggest bicycle company, only offers the top TCR Advanced SL in disc brake format. If you want a high-end rim brake bike, French carbon specialist Tyre still offers each of its three models in rim brake, but increasingly, it seems they're a dying breed. Those wheel manufacturers who weren't yet offering hookless rims were able to use the handy and genuine excuse that hookless rims meant limiting riders' tyre choice. The highly popular Continental GP5000 wasn't yet hookless compatible, but then, in 2021, Continental launched the GP5000 STR and it instantly won the Paris-Roubaix with Sonny Colbrelli. Although our own testing demonstrated that it's absolutely essential not to inflate the GP5000 STRs beyond recommended limits or risk a blow-off, the Tyre has been given hookless rims the traction they needed to break into the mainstream. If there's any trends that you've identified that we haven't included, make sure to leave us a comment down below. That's all from us. If you enjoyed this video, drop it a like and subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll catch you again soon.